Superman movies, the character Non. Check out Billy Stacks and listen to what the man got to say.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Stacks. I'm your host, Bill Stacks, and today I got Jack O'Halloran. I mean, it was his union. Do you agree?
But you got to understand something. You know, Fitzsimmons was under thumb to people. They blew his kid's car up, almost killed his kid, scared him to death. He did everything he was told to do, and Jimmy knew it. And Jimmy said, "That's it. You get up, get. I'm taking my union back." Then he got on the phone with New York, and he got in an argument on the phone with New York. They kept telling him, "Jimmy, it's just calm down, give it some time. We'll straighten everything out. I don't want to hear that shit." Blah, 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 blah. He went back and forth, and then he turned around and made a statement. He said, "I'll go to the press." They hung the phone up. That was the end of Jimmy Hoffa.
Now, do you think Russell Bufalino was involved with his murder?
No. Russell Bufalino.
The Irishman.
The Irishman's all garbage. It's all bullshit. I knew Frank Phelan well. Frank Phelan was from Philadelphia. He never killed Jimmy Hoffa, and he never killed Joey Gallo. That's all lies. That's all lies. Frank Phelan was a driver for Bufalino. And Billy Bufalino was a lawyer. Phelan was a driver. Did he shoot a few people in his life? Yeah, he did. He wrote a book called We Paint Houses.
Yeah.
And it made him out to be this terrible assassin. That's bullshit too. You know, you get hung up with people with all the bullshit stories that come out. You know, Phelan never killed Joey Gallo, and he never killed Hoffa. That's all bullshit. Never happened.
So what about Vincent Provenzano or Anthony Provenzano? He got into an argument with Hoffa in prison.
They got into an argument. They got into an argument, and he was talking to him on the phone, and that's when he hung up on him. And Jimmy was his own worst enemy. And did I like what happened to him? No. Did he cause his own problem? Yeah. And you can't change what people put themselves in precarious positions. And you can't talk about certain things in life because they're things that are non-speakable. Unless you're looking to get yourself killed. And that's not a joke. That happens to people every day. You talking to Sirhan, you know, I would bet my life he would mention a word about what happened that day at Bobby Kennedy's deal. You could have drilled him to the wall. He would have said, "I don't know what you're talking about." And he didn't tell you anything, did he?
Nope.
No.
But I asked.
Well, everybody would ask, but he didn't. Listen, that's like people who rat involving breaking the oath that they take. And they deserve to die for doing it. People want to incriminate other people and put them in jail because they're saving their own skin. You think they should be walking around?
Yeah, but what about now? They're on the internet with YouTube shows and bragging about. But
they're talking garbage. They're talking, you know, people want to hear this. People love to hear stories. They love to hear anything people will say, but they're not really telling the truth about things. They're telling their version of what they're saying.
Yeah.
You know, you got people who are on the internet doing things that, you know, that were classified as rats and classified as this and classified as that because they talked about things years ago. You know, that's all garbage, but it's water under the bridge. But it sells papers. It sells people pay to hear it. They want to hear stories. They want to hear fallacies. They don't care whether they're lies or not.
Yeah.
It's tantalizing because no one's ever told the real truth about it. So everybody's always searching for, well, this guy was involved. Maybe he'll say something to put some light on something.
What do you think about Joey Merlino coming out and having a podcast?
I think all these guys that are having these podcasts, they're doing it for the money. I mean, Sammy Gravano is a good guy, but he's talking about things. He knows what he's doing.
I don't think he's a good guy. We could agree to disagree.
Sammy?
Yeah,
Let me tell you something.
I think
Sammy bothered nobody. He had his own place in New Jersey. He never wanted to be involved with John. Carl Gambino pushed them together. Sammy took care of his own business. He was pushed together with John Gotti.
Carlo died way before John and Sammy got together.
Say what?
Carlo Gambino died way before Sammy and John ever got together.
That's not true.
He died in 76. They didn't even get together before that.
That's not true. You don't know what you're talking about.
We can agree to disagree.
Sammy had his own place over in New Jersey. And I know exactly why he turned around and said what he said about John, because John said something about him, and John was the only one that knew. And when Sammy was being questioned, and he never said nothing about nobody, he kept saying, forget about it, forget. Then they said something to him that the only person that knew about it was John Gotti. And Sammy said, well, that dirty rat bastard. And he turned around and he told them a whole bunch of stories about Gotti. Gotti was no prince, pal.
No, I know that.
Gotti was a good guy?
I never said that.
Please.
But so what about he tells on other people besides Gotti? He didn't just tell on John Gotti. He told on, I think, 38 other mobsters. Put them all in prison, too. So he goes and serves his little 5 years, right? He gets out in the witness protection program. His son gets in debt. What does Sammy do? Goes into the drug business. Brings his family along with him. Gets caught selling drugs. Now Sammy's on the internet saying ecstasy is not a drug. And it was some bullshit ecstasy case.
Oh,
what do you think of that?
Boy.
These are facts.
They're facts that people were putting in front of you. His son was in the drug business, not Sammy.
His
son got in trouble. His son got in trouble.
Yeah, but his son was in debt, right? He came to his dad. I'm in debt. I got credit card debt. His father had plenty of money. He could have paid his debt off. Instead, he wants to get involved with the drug business.
Billy.
We can agree to disagree, Jack.
We can agree to disagree. You got your version of what you believe. I know what I know is true.
I mean, I wholeheartedly believe Sammy is as bad as they come. He's a bad individual.
Well, that's your belief.
I mean,
I knew a different Sammy Gravano.
So tell me otherwise.
I just said I know a different Sammy Gravano. I know why things happened. That, I know a different Sammy Gravano. It's like John used to tell me, oh, come up to the office and sit down. I wouldn't walk up in that office and sit there. His office was so bugged. He called me on the phone one time and said, well, I can help you in Hollywood, because he helped Mickey Rourke and a few other people. I can help you out. I said, you can't help. Get away from me. And don't ever mention my father's name again. He used to say, well, I loved your father. I said, you're full of shit. My father was a rare individual.
Definitely.
You never saw any dirt about Albert, pal.
No.
You understand? Albert didn't want the drug business, and he was right. In The Godfather, when Brando was approached for the drug business, he said, if we touch it, our children will touch it. It'll be the downfall. Albert said that. Albert controlled the docks of all the docks. And he said, you're not bringing that shit in on my watch.
Because they
didn't
wanted
sign up for this.
they wanted Vito and all them wanted to bring the heroin.
Vito Genovese was the one who wanted the drug business. Vito Genovese was deported from America, and he opened up a heroin plant down in Sicily. And they were processing and bringing heroin into America. And the people who were involved in that were not allowed to be called Italians. They were called Zips. You understand? Read my book. Because I tell the truth about what we did that kept him in jail. He was getting ready to get out of jail. I said, that's bullshit. And he died in jail, which is where he belonged.
Missouri. He died in Missouri, right?
Vito Genovese was not. You're talking about a business that, first of all, the government didn't want them in the drug business. You understand? Albert said no. Frank Costello said no. Frank Costello had the most political book of anybody in the whole mafia history. And he stood up and told everybody, the government will allow us to do this, this, and this. They will not tolerate us being in the drug business because they were in the drug business. George Bush was partners with Noriega. You know who Noriega was?
Yeah.
You know who his partner was? Look up the bank rules of New York. 4 banks, major banks in New York, were lending atrocious amounts of money to South America for so-called agricultural loans. It was bullshit. They were supporting the drug business. And when the money came back, they got tons of money, and no one could figure out where all this cash was coming from. They were laundering drug money.
Wow.
So if you want to look at history, look at history. You want to look at things that are real, look at the things that are real. There's thousands of stories that people tell to try to make themselves look braggadocious and big time and stuff. And they're so full of shit, it's pathetic. Just like the whole thing with The Irishman. The Irishman movie was totally bogus.
Yeah,
everybody never talks about Hoffa, where Hoffa's buried, There was a guy in Chicago who was a wise guy in Chicago. He got locked up. His father had a gentleman's farm outside of Chicago. And the guy used to go out and till it every year for him, turn it over and everything. Well, he was in jail. So he told the FBI, hey, guys, come around. I'm going to tell you where Jimmy Hoffa's buried. Told him he was buried on his father's farm. They went and dug his whole farm up. They didn't find anything because there was nothing there to find.
Yeah.
But his father got his whole farm turned over.
He got it tilled, right, for free that year.
So
what do you think? What do you think they did to Jimmy Hoffa, and what do you think they did to his body? I mean, what's your speculation to what they did?
I know exactly what they did, and that'll stay. That's just the mystery of life. You know, I like Jimmy. Jimmy was a good guy, and he was a good friend. And what happened to Jimmy Hoffa? Jimmy was his own worst enemy.
Will his body ever be found?
No. It'll never be found.
It's a good enough answer for me. So he's not buried in Giant Stadium.
Not buried anywhere.
He's buried under home plate. Remember that one?
He's not buried anywhere. They're never going to find him.
I believe it. But there'll be another story that he's buried on this farm.
There's always stories. Everybody
they're going to go dig it
all the time.
Weren't they just digging in New Jersey for him, right?
Yeah, they could dig all they want. They're not going to find him anywhere. And he wasn't cremated. All that's bullshit. It's all bullshit. But, you know, it is what it is.
Well, you're a wealth of information, and I always appreciate you taking the time. Even if we disagree on some things.
Well, disagree to disagree. You know, there's certain things that happen that, you know, you just don't, certain things you don't talk about, period. And it's nobody's, you know, it's let them all go out and write all the books they want and all the bullshit that they and people, it's like people sit and listen to the news every day. They lie to them every day. There's more lies out there, more books being written about this and that, and it's all hearsay. It's all hearsay. 100%.
So what did you do for New Year's Eve?
Just went out to dinner with some friends and took it easy. All the fools are out New Year's Eve, you know.
Yeah,
Just,
drinking.
we went and had dinner at a nice Italian restaurant and came home and sat here and waited till 12 o'clock, wished everybody Happy New Year, and went to bed.
Is it sauce or gravy, Jack?
Gravy, son. It's gravy.
I appreciate you, Jack. I really appreciate you. And if you like this content, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And if you don't like this podcast, start your own. Till next time.